We'll start now. A warm welcome to Abode Masters, Hualien Dharma team, and brothers and sisters around the globe to Saturday Hualien Dharma Talk. Let us start the session for today. I would like to share a short extract from Master's speech. Seize every moment to cultivate earnestly and diligently. Day after day, month after month, year after year, time passes by constantly. In the blink of an eye, it is already the 15th day of first lunar month. With time, everything can be accomplished. Likewise, all things can be taken away with time. Hence, everyone should seize every moment to cultivate earnestly and diligently. How do we practice spiritual cultivation? By going amongst people to give without seeking anything in return. Let us sincerely vow to work for Buddhism and all living beings. The multitude of living beings need the power of love from Buddhism. Grateful to Master's teachings. Now let us send our sincere prayers into the 10 directions. May the Sangha land be free from disaster and peace prevails in the world. Let us sing the prayer song with sincere piousness.
In my heart, I feel deep gratefulness. All my heart is filled with sincere prayer. From all corners of the world, let us join our hearts and pray for a world of harmony and peace. From my heart, I pray. May we join our hands, our hearts as one. Spread the seeds of great love, nurture wisdom evermore. Let us fill the world with hope. In my heart, I feel deep gratefulness. May all the Buddhas know my prayer. All united with one heart, let us end our hate with love. May there be no suffering hereafter.
May all minds be purified. May there be peace in the community. May there be no disasters in this world. Now let us pray together for universal love and blessing. With loving respect, gratitude, and confidence, let us wish every person in our lives a healthy body, an enlightened mind, and total fulfillment in universal love. Now let us expand this consciousness to include every person in the world, every being in the universe. Let our unified love make this wonderful world even better. Let us all immerse ourselves in the joyful embrace of universal love. Before we hear the wonderful sharing, let us invite our masters to lead us in paying homage to the Triple Gems. Let us pay our respects for these teachings and explanations to the Buddha and Master Ching Yen by making 3 sincere bows. Please rise, palms together. First bow. Second bow. Third bow. And a bow to our beloved Abode Masters who could join us today. And okay, today we have 3 gentlemen, 3 brothers going to share with us. Brother Benjamin and Brother Tang will be sharing with us the bringing ICT education to the refugee communities, and followed by Brother Zell, who will share his 60 days in Abode. Okay, now let us invite Sister Su Ching for the weekly summary. Sister Su Ching, over to you.
Hello. Wait, hold on for a moment, yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry. I realize now only I'm using my husband's computer, so let me just change my name later. Okay, let me share screen right now. We had to go for an emergency meeting in JP, so now I'm in JP. So sorry about that, Sister Su Ching. Okay, so I'm using my husband's computer. Last week we had Sister Alicia. In 2015, Sister Alicia did a performance that was moving and meaningful called Water Repentance. She's learned that time is precious and flies, and each moment should be spent being wise. We all have the same 24 hours each day to spend with work, family, and play. Some waste their time shopping and such, but Sister Alicia uses hers to do good, very many and much. Though translating to English can be tough, the message she shares is important enough. The Dharma can be shared in many a way, through sign language or performance display. The Master has shown us the way to go, and all we need is to let our knowledge flow. So take this lesson to heart today before you depart. In learning the Dharma, make haste and just start. Sister Lianxi then came to share. In tears, she sat, overwhelmed by the scene of water repentance in 2015. Sister Lianxi knew that she must be a part of it somehow, someday, she did see. Years passed by, and in 2022, an invitation arrived, a dream come true, to the performance in the very same show that moved her to tears so long ago. In between work and family, she found the time. Her determination is unyielding and sublime. Though challenges of traffic jams and Mandarin terms to learn, her language skills improved, they began to burn. The command of her words improved so much, her dedication a testament to her touch. The Buddha within she began to seek, and found solace in the words she'd speak. Now she calls for more to join the fold, to the Sutta adaptation, a story to be told. From the English group, she hopes to see more people join in harmony. Then Brother Sean came on. We walk along the path of life with our thoughts leading the way. Habits formed through routine and strife dictate our fate day by day. Master Ching Yen teaches us to be mindful, to be conscious in all that we do, to abandon unwholesome states of mind, to exert ourselves with the right view. We must maintain the wholesome states and present to those that have not yet arisen. Around us lies potential and fate, which we can shape with each decision. But changing habits is not easy. We must push through the plateau of latent potential. Through perseverance, we can become more free, and our efforts will be exponential. The bamboo bank is a habit we can cultivate. To give what we can, even a little is good, for boundless merits will accumulate, and we can lead to the achievement of Buddhahood. So let us be self-disciplined and diligent, frugal in our wants and steadfast in our quest. For the journey may be long yet significant, but the rewards are boundless and offer us true rest. Okay, that's it for me. Hand over to Sister Su Ching, sorry. This morning you must have a shock of who is Hualien, yeah. Thank you so much, Kan for listening. Bye-bye.
感恩 Sister Lily for the great start, and of course Sister Su Ching for another most wonderful summary of last Saturday's session. Wow, Sister Su Ching, truly I'm sure all of us enjoy her this superb summary, always another level. Wow, very grateful for those, even for those who couldn't join last Saturday. Trust with this summary could bring everyone to the session last summary. If you wish to listen, you can welcome to listen to the recording in the Tzu English channel platform. Good morning, most respected Sangren, Masters, brothers and sisters. Most grateful to everyone for joining us at such an early hour this morning. Today we are most honored, grateful to have with us Brother Benjamin and Brother Tang Sunwa. Actually, Brother Benjamin has a big team now. Oh, truly, this is the testimonial that how with sincerity, dedication, diligence, endurance, I think the practices of the 6 parameters that Masters mentioned, today we can see how the team has grown. Recall back then when we started refugee care home visits, we have these issues of we have educated refugees who ended up in Malaysia, but they can't learn further. They don't have these equipments. So Brother Benjamin back then in 2016 he joined us for the care home visits for the refugees. He could see the great needs in this because of the suffering. That's why the Bodhisattva emerges. And it was not easy for us, the other GL, or even in communities, when we have needs, we seek from Brother Benjamin. It was not easy. We understand a lot. The needs are so vast, but the supplier is Brother Benjamin. He will go to repair, seeking from people, the second-hand, all these recyclable. We trust that there are a lot that end up in the recycling station, but who are they to repair it? The journey is not, it's not easy. I'm very grateful. I think this is personal for myself. I also have recently I was thinking of something whether to continue or not, but just now watching Brother Benjamin testing, looking at the PB50, very touched, and this one really very inspiring for that. What is the right thing? Just continue to do for all the brothers and sisters. Okay, let us be inspired by Brother Benjamin and Brother Tang. Okay, over to you, Brother Benjamin, for the next for the sharing.
Let me just start sharing my screen. Okay. So I hope my screen is sharing now. Am I coming in clear, Sister Su Ching?
Yeah. Very clear.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay. Kanan to everyone and our masters at Abode for coming in to listen to this sharing. So I'm sharing today with my teammate, Brother Tang. Yeah. And so the title of our sharing today is to focus more about our works in the refugee communities, trying to bring ICT education, computers and devices to this community. So that's a little poster that was done about 2 years ago, yeah, to get the public to donate their used computers, yeah? And our team would actually fix it, give it to the D people. That picture is one of our recipients. You know, she's a very bright, cheerful child. Yeah, we got the picture of her attending her online class. Very nice sight to see. Right. Okay. So how the whole thing started? It's when I started becoming a volunteer. Started volunteering at the recycling center. I would occasionally read some Jingse aphorism, and this particular aphorism has always stuck with me, and it's been driving me to continue to do this effort from day to day. So instead of worrying about the conditions of society, we should turn worry into confidence and give our love to the society. And this Jingse aphorism reminds me not to give up when I feel like giving up. It reminds me to do something for others as a way of doing something for myself. Yeah. And in 2016, getting involved with the recycling center, I was asked by a brother in the recycling center to look into computer repair. And I started repairing computers at the recycling center. And at that time, I was, in 2016, I was doing this within the community in Puchong. And in 2017, through word of mouth, I got requests of computers from other communities. And so started delivering computers to care recipient families, to refugees outside my community. And the next 2 years, I was still doing it alone. I would assume at that time there were other volunteers doing what I'm doing. I didn't believe that I was the only one doing it. Yeah, and it's actually true. I wasn't the only one doing it. There were other volunteers, brothers and sisters, in KL, Selangor, Penang, Johor. They were also doing it, but we have never connected with one another. Yeah. So it's the whole thing really came together in 2020 because of the COVID-19 pandemic. What happened is our school was stopped. So children were forced to attend school online. And what happened is many of our care recipient families didn't have the devices, smartphones, the computers to attend online class. And it was very, very sad at the time to listen to stories from our care recipients, especially those with many children in the family, especially care recipient parents who are very concerned about their children's education. Yeah, they don't want their kids to be left out. So many parents started to tell their charity case leaders, we had problems getting our children to attend online class. We don't have the computers, we don't have the phones, we don't have the internet access. Can Su Ching help? Yeah. And at that time, in 2020, for me, it got quite busy. Yeah, there were many requests. But this is a photo. These are two photos that are actually very memorable. This is actually one of the PPV assessment centers. This is the PPV assessment center. And what happened is through our connections in Su Ching, we were asked to help supply computers for the frontliners to do their data entry work. And on the right, this is one of the most memorable photos I have. That is Brother Nick in full PPV suit, and he was needed to go and set up the computers to check faulty computers to make sure that they were all working for the frontliners. And I was very worried for him when I saw this picture, because every single person that you see behind him, they were all COVID positive. Yeah. So, and even the staff there, the medical staff, that they were very worried for him. So they got him full PPV suit. And when you wear a PPV suit, that is an experience you will never forget. So you've come to realize, that you cannot do it alone. But when things get tough, somehow help comes along the way. So I'm very happy to get an old friend, Brother Nick, to join me. And not too long after that, Brother Jeffrey from Kota Kamoni also joined the team. And the three of us, we will be repairing computers that we get from recycling centers in our homes and in the office. But demand kept growing, and there were more and more families asking for computers, because the schools were closed multiple times due to pandemic, and all the children were pressured to keep up with online learning. And these are some of the photos of the children using computers to attend their online classes. But it's not only the issue of computers. A lot of these families also struggle to get stable internet connection. Some of these families don't have a fixed broadband connection at home, so they will be connecting to the internet via their mobile hotspot, and that's also another struggle, because some of them have very limited data. Data will run out, and they're not able to continue throughout the classes, throughout the school session. Sometimes they have to skip hours a day. Sometimes they have to skip a few times a day, and it's very, very sad to listen to stories of kids who really want to study, who really want to attend school, but due to the challenges that they face, they had to miss out in classes. There were also many stories that I've seen and heard whereby, because of the pandemic, some children started losing interest in studies. They started falling behind, not turning in their assignments through WhatsApp, and our charity leaders, they were all very worried for these children, and they were worried that what will happen to these children if they don't get proper education. And at that time, we didn't know how long the pandemic was. Yeah. So throughout the years working on this asset, I've asked myself, what is the meaning of compassion? it's very easy for someone to say, I'm a very compassionate person. How do you find that compassion? And Master Cheng would always say, to willingly undergo hardship for the sake of helping others with compassion. So compassion is not a feeling, and you see someone in need, you acknowledge that need. That is not really compassion, but the moment you take action to help that person, and to help that person even though it takes up your time and money sometimes, and you yourself have to go through certain levels of hardship. That is the true meaning of compassion, and that is something that I have learned throughout the years doing this. It's not just a feeling that you have. It's the whole package. Doing something about it. Yeah. And during the pandemic, as we did, we serviced and repaired a lot of computers, delivering them, trying to. One of the biggest challenges I had during the pandemic was trying to teach kids how to use the computer for the very first time remotely, virtually. That was actually one of the biggest challenge. I remember there were so many families where the children, they got the computer for the very first time. And because of the quarantines, because of the distancing and everything, I remember there was 1 month, we had to deliver about 40 computers to different families, and we could not be always present to deliver a computer to the doorstep to set it up, to teach the children how to use, because some of these families, they were COVID positive. So just the real struggle was actually, how would you teach this child to set up the computer, to connect to the internet, to teach them how to get online, attend their Google Meet classes remotely. And at that time, I was using WhatsApp video, to talk to the families, teach them how to put the computer together, tell them how to start the computer. And there were some cases it takes about 3 hours just to get this family connected to the internet, and allow them to actually teach them how to use the computer so they can attend their classes. It's a real struggle when do it with a family that has no computer knowledge. You have to do it. But I was very fortunate in 2021, and I'm very grateful to Brother Chifan for helping me to set up this team. Yeah. So the team now supports the whole chaos lane, and we have brothers and sisters throughout chaos lane region, being part of this team. I mentioned in the beginning that was I the only one doing this? And true enough, I was not the only one. There were many brothers and sisters who were doing this in their own scale, And this team is a formal setup of us all coming together. It's a formal meet of all of us coming together and putting our efforts together and trying to do something even bigger. So I'm very grateful to the team. And throughout throughout this whole experience, since 2016 until now, it's been 6 years. Reason being is repairing computers, getting them ready, and delivering it to the care recipients, to the families, to the refugee families. It takes up a lot of time. Sometimes it takes a couple of hours to get one computer ready. Sometimes it will take half a day. Sometimes it will take even longer to fix the computers. And when things got tough, there were times that I wanted to stop and give up. Now, at home, my home sister, Sister Tang, she has the habit of the moment she's at home, she will turn on the TV and she would turn on Thai TV. She would turn on Brother Joe Huang, Brother David Liu's talk, and she will be listening to it sometimes in front of the TV, sometimes not in front of the TV. I don't know how she does it. For me, most of the time, and when she does that, when she's listening, I'm walking around the house. I'm not in front of the TV. And surprisingly, at those moments when I wanted to give up, somehow Master was always there for me. When I would, for example, would just with Master talking in the TV, I was just walking around, and somehow Master would say something, and that would stop me on my toes, and I would listen for a minute or so what Master is saying, and somehow Master would always she seemed to always be there for me, and when I have troubles, she would remind me what is important, and that kept me going again. That gave me the boost and energy to continue doing this. So I am very grateful to Master for that. Now, at the end of 2021, so in Malaysia, we started moving into the endemic phase. So a new scenario, not a problem, a new scenario arose. So now we have a bigger team. we could repair more computers, but now the children, they were all going back to school. Yeah. So all the children, they were going back to school. The demand for computers started to drop. So we started having a lot of computers ready, but they had nowhere to go. So what do we do? So I started thinking, and I'm going to share a little video clip here. There's a little refugee girl, which we sent an iPad to help her learn some stuff.
Hi, ma'am. Hi, ma'am. I pray for you, your mother, father, and you long life. You sent me this gift. I am so much happy. You come my house. I request you.
Always you happy
Always you happy.
and you successful life.
I pray for you.
Always. Me too much sick, nose and bone problem, but I am happy.
I pray for you.
You gift
You and your mother and father
long.
Thank you so much. I thank you.
By the recipient and his refugee family for recording this video for us. And so I decided to go on an outreach mode, meaning that rather for waiting for cases to come in, I've decided to find institutions where we could donate the computers that we had. And we started looking into the refugee communities. And at that time, I got some contact from Sister Layson. So this is Sister Layson talking to refugee schools about their needs, their problems, and how we can actually help them. And so that started getting our team, setting up computer labs for refugee schools. We also made sure that the teachers would also have computers so that they can deliver a much more effective education for the refugee children, the students. And we hope with the computers that we donate to them, they can, all the refugee students can get better quality education and exposure. So these are some pictures of Sister Layson, Brother Jeffrey, bringing computers to the school, sending them up, teaching some of the teachers how to use the computer. So they've donated. This is without audio. So you can see the children from this refugee school. They're learning how to use the computer. They're learning how to type. Because if you're using the computer for the very first time, identifying the keys on the keyboard, yeah, that's really important for them. So this is the first refugee school that we did. It's the Somali Refugee Center in Medan Idaman. So we set up a computer lab for them. We made sure that all the teachers had laptops to work with. We also delivered desktop computers to students at home so they could do online classes, online tuition, etc. So that's the first one. And this is the Myanmar Muslim community. We donated a couple of laptops to them. This is a unique case. This is a unique case because we had to also figure out how to let the staff of this office be able to type their own language. So we had to set up the computer to be able to type the Myanmar language, but then all our keyboards are Latin characters. So we had to make up a Myanmar keyboard for them using stickers. See from the picture of the keyboard at the bottom right. This is Project Azalea. This is us working with other NGOs to support their work. So this Project Azalea is a project whereby they would get a few refugee leaders, youth in various communities. This youth would go through leadership training and seminars, and these leaders would then, this youth would come up with projects that would benefit their family. Yeah. So we donated computers to this youth. And present other institutions, to get resources, and hopefully with their ideas and effort, they could run a project that would benefit their own community, their refugee community. So this year we are also supporting Project Hualien for the second year. And in 2022, Brother Tang joined the team. I remember at that time, Brother Tang was also very involved. This is actually right after the massive flood at the end of 2021, and Brother Tang was very involved in trying to help with different communities. And somehow I can't remember how I got to know Brother Tang, and we gave him some computers to take to a primary school in Bentong, if I'm not mistaken. And since then, me and Brother Tang, we kept in touch. And at some point, Brother Tang joined the team. So I'm very grateful for that. So in 2022, we started doing another computer lab and computers for another refugee school and another one and another one, and we kept going. This is another one. So the format would be, we would assess the school to see if they have the need for computers. So some of these schools would have teachers who are able to teach ICT, and we would talk to them to see if they have a space for a lab, and we will also see if the teachers, do they have laptops to deliver the education. So we do different kind of assessments to find out about the scenario and deliver what is necessary for them. Another one, this is an NGO, all in Medan Idaman. And this is the Zomi Education Center. We set up a lab for them. And you can see the children here using the computer to learn math, counting with the fingers. Very cute photo. This is another refugee school. They deliver education to secondary refugee students. And the thing is, there are teachers there who knows how to repair computers. So we would supply them, but they know how to repair computers, but they don't have access to the donations that we get from our tertiary recycling center. So we came up with some formal agreement that we will continue to supply them with unchecked computers, desktops, and laptops, so that they could repair it. And as part of this repairing of the computers would help educate the students in that school to learn a new skill. And this is the meeting that we had with the coordinator. So in August 2022, I got a message from Sister Beeping, who is the coordinator for our Harmony and Unity Refugee School. And Sister Beeping told me that it's about time that they want to set up a computer lab for both schools. Yeah. And apart from setting up the computer lab, my team would also help to, my team would also work with the teacher to set up a computer and ICT syllabus, because ICT studies, computer studies will be part of the timetable for 2023. So we went through a process of trying to figure out how we want to set up the ICT syllabus for both of these schools. And this is the timetable. So year 4, 5, and 6 students beginning 2023, they would have 2 periods a week, to learn how to use the computer, to learn ICT. So this is a very big move from our own refugee school, because there is a need that when these students graduate primary school and move on to secondary school, they would face a challenge that the secondary schools require them to have basic computer knowledge, to do their studies. But all this while, there was no proper training in Harmony and Unity. So with this initiative, we would make sure that all the refugee students that goes through Harmony and Unity's education would also have computer knowledge. And when they graduate and move on to secondary school, they would be able to learn better and more effectively. So these are some pictures of the kids, students attending their online classes, their computer classes. So I was also very lucky, we were also very lucky, because I was actually thinking of where to get laptops for both schools, because we needed about 47 laptops. And somehow, something that I've come to realize over the years, when you want to do something important, and at first you would think, how am I going to do this? Where am I going to get the resources to do this? Who's going to help me? Somehow the heavens would send things along. Yeah. So we were very lucky when this project first started. We got 2 companies, Guilty and DHL. At that time, the 2 companies, they were writing off their old laptops. And we were very, very lucky and fortunate and very grateful that these 2 companies donated the laptops, about 47 of them, including another company called THS Resources, public listed company. So 3 companies donated their laptops, and all these laptops, they were refurbished and sent to Harmony and
you come here and then click one time. Click. Did it come out?
Yes.
You can see you have 3 choices. Sleep, shut down, and restart.
Shut down.
Don't click anything.
of the students from Harmony learning how to use the computer for the very first time, and from the pictures on the left, they were actually trying to learn how to do some simple digital art on the computer. Yeah. And I remember last week or the week before, I went to Harmony to observe the class. And when I left Harmony, I was actually crossing the street, and all of a sudden, I heard someone screaming out, "Teacher, teacher." So I looked back after I crossed the street. After crossing the street in Harmony, I looked back and I saw two pair of hands at the window of Harmony, and they were waving at me. So the thing is, they were calling teacher, teacher. I'm not one of the teachers there, and and I was looking at the street, to make sure that they were actually calling me, not their own school teacher. So I couldn't see any teacher or any Harmony school teacher on the street. So I think they must be waving at me. So I actually waved back. And that was a very touching moment for me, because when I saw them waving at me, it reminds me of when I leave the house, leave my apartment, and my daughter would wave from the window. And it's somehow um um uh somehow it feels like, even though I'm not a teacher there, even though um I'm not involved in directly with the ICT classes, but I've somehow formed an affinity with the students, and and the students would regard me as their teacher. So that's a very touching moment. Yeah. So what's next? Let's see the time. Okay. So so what's next for us this year? So we have a pipeline of refugee schools that need computers and computer labs. So that's ongoing. We've started supporting Su Ching's vision in Lumbini, delivering laptops to local volunteers and also to educational institutions in Lumbini, so they could also deliver and run ICT education. We are starting, the current scenario is, in our team, in our inventory, we have a lot of desktop computers, but we don't have computer monitors. We don't have enough of them. So in order to help more people, we have to get monitors to pair it with our desktop. So we are looking forward to start a monitor repair center in Taman Sentosa Recycling Center. So I'm very grateful that my teammates there are putting effort to do this. And something that we're looking at is to help refugee families easily locate nearby schools. I think I'll talk about this when it materializes next time. So I want to welcome Brother Tang. Brother Tang?
Hi.
Hi. Okay.
Hi, Monica.
So I'll control the slide. So you talk and you cue me when to change the slide. Okay?
Sure.
All
Thanks,
right.
Brother Benjamin.
Yep. To you then.
Hi, morning, brother and sister. What I would like to share is my journey as part of Benjamin's team members in basically leveraging the platform that he has established, and with one simple goal, which is to reach as many refugees families, as many as I could. So if you refer to one of the slides from Brother Benjamin, one of the schools that he has reached out to was a refugee school of Somali Refugee Center, where that's where I get to know his sister Lacim, and that's how I started to participate my work. And of course, in my sharing here, I would also share how I actually, that's where we started, and how I actually, little by little, reaching different schools and NGOs, and also how was the work that we have delivered to respective schools and NGOs here. So, and then I will also later on share that some part of the activity that we involve the NGOs and school in arranging the receipt to our City Recycle Education Center, and also what we have observed. And next step. Next. Brother Benjamin, next slide. These are my first refugee schools that I have tasked to actually reach out to them after the computer lab was set up by Brother Benjamin and Brother Nick Wong through Sister Lacey in 2021. So what we're trying to achieve is, other than computer lab, how do we going to reach out to more students in the school? So this is where my engagement with the principal and to understand the situation of the school, gather the information, and how we could actually deliver not just the computer to them, but how do they ensure
5点多是文法的、听法的啊，都起来了，都做本啊，好了开掉，去到对使听。
Hi. Brother Benjamin, can I continue?
Please continue, Brother Tang. Sorry, apologies.
Okay. Okay, so Brother Benjamin, can you go back to the previous slide? Okay. I just recap a little bit. We are not just about to deliver the desktop to them, but also understand who are the student is, and also how do we ensure the student who are computer illiterate to making sure that they are able to use and access the information that is set up by Benjamin's team. This is where we gather those information, whereby we actually found that we need to work with the ICT teachers with the support of the principal to gather the information, teaching them all the simple information of how they access the necessary educational software as part of their plan to build their ICT syllabus to the student. So these are the summary of showing the number of students who actually receive the desktop. You can see how happy they were when they got the first big present and delivered to their house, to their home. It was surprised to realize that there are so many students who are actually living and in a very difficult or challenging environment, being the school and as well their home. There's so much lacking to actually get them to study, not just about ICT, but even to study. So, and not to mention that we also encountered several OKU students, and you can see the picture that they do not even have a proper study table, even some houses that don't even have chair, not to mention books. So, so the last picture, you can see that they actually, after we delivered the desktop, that's where the ICT teachers understand the software or the setup that we have, and that's where the teachers started to teach the student not just about the software, but even he opened up the computer to show them what is inside the computers, how it works, what are the components of the desktop. Brother Benjamin, next. So with the experience that I gathered from Somali Learning Refugee Center, so we realized that we already established a more mature process, and the interaction with the team members with the scope that I would like to do. So this is the second school that we have reached out to. In addition, we also would like to not just with a mission of delivering the computers to the school, but we also would like to create awareness about Su about environment protection to the schools. In this case, it's not just about the principal or student, but also involve the teachers and the parents. So these are the work that we have done in the second school, Somali Learning Center, where we actually not just repair the computers in the computer lab to making sure that they can continue to allow the student to attend the ICT class. We also actually, as part of the event that we jointly organize with the school, we actually have the ISA event arranged. And in addition, of course, we have a little present for gift prepared by Sister Lacing, which is all the stationeries and some of the gift to the student. And they actually have a team of, I think, about more than 10 volunteers joining. And the turnout was very positive. And also we invited even the parents, the principal, and the student to as a speaker of the event to share the importance of computers to them, ICT to them, and also how important the school, the support of this program. Next, Brother Benjamin. And through word of mouth, we also encountered a student who actually shared with us that there are such organization or NGO called Somali Women Association Malaysia, whereby they are actually supporting the Somali community. So that's how I reached out to the founder of, in short, SWAM, whereby I realized that they really lacking of support to actually to reach out and to support and service their community. So whereby we, in the engagement with the founder, where we actually, together with Sister Lacing, we actually, at the end, delivered the computer for them to set up the computer lab so that they can launch their ICT class to their members. Also, with the help of Sister Lacing, we also delivered the sewing machine for them to start the sewing class, especially to the single mother. Not to mention also we actually delivered the TVs donated by Brother Nick's friend, so that they can start to launch their childcare services. Next, Brother Benjamin. So because there's a school, again, we realized that there's also a school just nearby Swamp. So we also, again, in a similar manner, we actually engage the principal, also sharing with them our intent and the support we would like to render to them. This is where we have the second ISA event in Fiji School at Swamp premise to actually go through the same process and with the volunteers involved to actually reach out to the schools, the teachers, and also the parents about Su Ching, about why we actually, where we get this desktop from. And the highlight also is we actually have Su Ching youth to actually involve to conduct the demo to the student and parents to let them aware what is our program about and what are the educational software that we can get from the computers to help their children. Next, Brother Benjamin. again, through the word of mouth, we actually get to know a student who actually study in Ideas Academy. So that's how, with the same process, reach out to the principal, and also that's where we go through the same process to actually help them to extend their computer lab with additional desktop, and also preparing the computer, hand over the computer to them, again through ISA event. One of the highlight here is we actually, through Benjamin, we also invited the ALC Academy student as the speaker to present about environment protection together with Brother Lau, which presenting about Su Ching, and the turnout was very positive. As you can see from the picture, the number of students, teachers, and also the staff and the management attended the session. And the environment, the participants, little people, they're more noisy, more active in asking questions, raising their hand, discussing or asking a lot of things about what they learned. They find it's very useful and impactful to them. Next, Brother Benjamin. This is where I started a school, Afghan Learning Center, where I, again, through the word of mouth from the student, they actually share to us that, hey, we have also another learning center where it's a different area. Here where we actually basically try, it's a new school. So what we currently intend to do was to try to furnish them with all the necessary support, started with their computers, to making sure there's quite a high number of computers that are currently faulty. So we actually, first step was we try to replace those computers with the help of Benjamin's team together to get them to set up properly. And also we can see that immediately the ICT class was able to enroll so many students. Until the last visit we had was last week, was because the number of, they actually have, some of the computer actually have 2 students to share the same computer in their class. In addition, because the school has so little facilities, so that's why we also gathered a lot of donation, TV, stationery, books to deliver to the school. Next, Brother Benjamin. So that the previous slide is basically about NGO and the school ISA program. So this slide basically to share, when we visiting them, we also introduce the Recycle Education Center to them. So this is where you can see that there's a school or NGO founders actually did a site visit to, thanks to Sister Jessica, so who are actually well enough knowledgeable to explain to them the center, so the surrounding and the purpose of our recycle center. So they were very impressed with the facility that we have and the good cause that we try to reach to do. And also from the right hand side, you can see also the refugee principal and the management staff to actually attend or to do the visit to the recycle center. And moreover, the Swamp founder also invite their members to actually participate the recycling work at the site, at the recycle center. And they are basically the single mom or the teenagers of Swamp Center. Next,
we are running short of time today, so we need to give way to Brother Zell, the next speaker in this morning's sharing. So, Brother Tang, shall we cut it short this time and we'll do it again the next session?
Sure, sure.
All right. Thanks, Brother Tang. So, Sister Su Ching, we pass it back to you. So, thank you to everyone gathered for listening today. Brother Tang, thank you very much.
Yeah, 感恩 so much, Brother Benjamin and Brother Tang for the really inspiring and awesome sharing. Trust all of us are on board. Wow, we are very touched by the team dedication. And from one seat, the Brother Benjamin, today we can see big forest of body, and it has already benefited many, especially our refugee families. Truly very touching. And everyone on board, now we know who else, if they need help on these IT computer things. Actually, beyond that, we can see the team is reaching beyond the IT. They are also going into like educational side. And very grateful. There are a lot of awesome insights, feedback from our YouTube family, as well as those at the Zoom. So I think maybe I just read out a few of it. Sister Effie mentioned about this Brother Benjamin and team giving opportunities to others to proceed their education unobstructed during the pandemic. Meritorious act of compassion, great love. You are doing the great job in benefiting the children in this diligent effort in community volunteerism. And we can see the team also growing. And Datin Sivamani, our volunteer, also very grateful, express gratitude to the team for helping to refurbish the donated computers for the use of refugee children. The two very powerful things truly indeed shared by Brother Benjamin. Instead of worrying about the conditions of our society, we should turn worry into confidence and give our love to the society. Compassion is really about undergoing hardship willingly for the sake of helping others. And most grateful. Yeah, definitely we will reach another session because there are so many powerful stories from this team and it's growing. This morning we are most grateful to have with us Brother Zell. Brother Zell is one of the most dedicated volunteers. Many of us know him. He is one of the strong supporter of this Hualien sharing from the weekly Hualien sharing. He has joined us since I think our starting and continue to inspire more and encourage more to join. And after that, Brother Zell from working, he Tzu Chi volunteers. Later, we saw the progress of Brother Zell turning into Tzu Chi staff, full-time staff, and recently, can we say recently? And we also heard during one of the live telecasts from Hualien that Brother Zell also aspired to be a pure practitioner. In fact, let us hear from Brother Zell directly his recent journey, the 60 days in Abode, and we look forward to more from Brother Zell. Brother Zell.
Okay, good morning, dear brothers and sisters. Thank you so much for having me this time to share with you all briefly about what was I doing back in Hualien in the past 60 days. Okay, can you see my screen actually?
Yes, brother.
Yeah, okay. All right, so so I went back to Hualien actually in November 5th, 2022, and due to the reopening of borders between our Taiwan and Malaysia. So I remember previously Malaysian, if you're going back to Taiwan, you don't even need to apply for any visas. So because of the pandemic, they're trying to control all the entries. So everyone needs to apply for a visa to enter. So I remember in September, I was helping our Malaysian volunteers to prepare their visas. And I also applied for my visas to go there. So the rest of them, they were applying with a volunteer visa. So they got it for 60 days. and I was applying for like a company internship visa, but it was rejected because they need more documents, and actually they need to apply through some government entities. Yeah, so supposedly I was supposed to go earlier with the Nepal special project teams for the reporting, but unfortunately I was unable to go. And then I applied again for my trip to November, another 60 days with the tourist visa. Right, so the tourist visa also they asked for more documents, but it was not as hectic as the previous visa that I need to apply, because I just need to show them all my travel plans. I actually need to plan out the travel, my hotel bookings, and need to show them the bank statements and everything, blah blah blah. So fortunately, I was able to get the 60 days tourist visa back to Taiwan. So when I back there, when I was back in Hualien, I had few things that the most important things that it has to be done in the abode, right? So first of all, I need to actually I was interested to work in the abode because I've heard from other people that they are looking for more staff to work in the abode. So that was what I've heard. So I want to go there to find out the answer myself, right? So that was one main thing. So secondly, I would like to go back to the abode and to get to know more about the Nepal special project staff working there. So need to build some bonding and understand how is it the systems and how to work more smoothly in the future over here in Malaysia for our Tang in our local chapter, how to collaborate more and working well with the HQ. So that was the second thing. And number three, I want to go there to actually look for Brother Joe and other Qing Xiu Si. So Qing Xiu Si, I think some of you are aware of what is that. So in other words, for Qing Xiu Si, translated into English is the pure practitioner. Right? So it's just instead of going monastic, instead of need to go become a monk or become a bhikkhu. So there's another system called Qing Xiu Si by master. So you just maintain your layperson your image, right? But you are doing kind of like a monastic work. So that's one system. Then they're still trying to fine tune to make it a more approachable program for more people to join, right? So I went back there to talk to more Qing Xiu Si, so not just Brother Joe, right? So I've talked to, I think maybe close to 20 of them about how their life and what they've been doing and everything, right? And last reason is I went back. The last time I went back was in January 3rd, 2020, right before the COVID pandemic, right? So every year I try to go back to the abode, go back to Taiwan, to Hualien, because that was what Master said, right? So always go back to the abode, right? Always go back home. So it's our spiritual home. So we have to go back home, like how you go back for Chinese New Year every year to your home, to your kampong. So I believe that is what we a disciple should be doing, right? So I actually really miss Taiwan and really miss the abode and the master. So I went back. Okay, so for the job seeking, so I actually know that there are several departments who are looking for staff to work there. So I think, and then I arranged an interview with the managers with the Asia Pacific team, the Sister Monica, and also Brother Zhong Han, to understand our each other's expectation and our job scope and everything. So after that, I also signed up for the India and Nepal mission, because I'm not sure if any of you remember the HQ actually opened up for sign up for the India mission. So I did express my interest in this area. But of course, during the interview, I also mentioned I'm not only bounded to the Nepal and India project. So because I do not know how the HQ, how the Abode works and how much they need new staff to assist or back up them, to support them. So I actually mentioned to the team leaders that you know best of your department and the HQ situation. So where do you think you need most? I can be there to help, to support. So that was what they told me. They will evaluate and then they will decide which team to put me on. Because since I already expressed that I can go to any team, not only for the Nepal and India, right? So, yep. So I think maybe many of you haven't been back to the Abode, so maybe I can share some stories. I think this is my main sharing this morning is about life in the Abode. So during that time in November, there was still COVID is still going on. So in their daily cases was about 30,000, 20,000 daily. So it was actually still quite bad. So I still need to go through the quarantine for 7 days in the Abode. So in the Abode, in the first 5 days, I was not allowed to go out from the room, and the last 2 days, I could go out, but I could not dine in the canteen, and I could not go to the Sangren's area, the Sangren where the area where Sangren move around, so I could not go there. So during the quarantine, besides listening to the morning assemblies, listening to whatever sharing for Sangren Xingjiao, I was reading. So I was finishing 2 books that I started in Malaysia. Yeah. So during quarantine, in the quarantine room, I could actually hear, the 敲板声, right? So it's a time to wake up, or it's a time for lunch, it's the time for the evening chant, it's the time for dinner, and then it's the gong to go to sleep. So I could hear all of those very clearly. I actually got a bit frustrated because I felt like I was trapped in the room because like everyone else in the Abode, they were doing their things, right? They're doing the cleaning, they were doing the talking, they were sweeping the floor, right? They were moving around, but I was stuck in a room, so I felt a bit frustrated because I came all the way and I need to go through the quarantine. I wasn't too happy about that. And also here in Jingsitang, I'm in special project department. So in special project department, we are handling the emergencies and some ad hoc projects and a lot of and last minute meetings and project and etc. So it was not easy for me to come down, sit in a room doing nothing, just waiting for the times to go. It was not easy for me. But 1 or 2 days later, Yuan Sifu, right? She knew that I was back in the Abode, so Sifu contacted me and Sifu Sifu actually asking how was I and everything. So I told Master that I told Yuan Sifu that I was a bit frustrated that I couldn't do anything, but Yuan Sifu just say you need to anju, you need to calm down, you need to find peace, you need to or learn how to adopt in every situation. Need to, and I think that helped me a lot. So after talking to Yuan Sifu, I think I was more settled down. So I get more peace. So I was able to be with myself in the quarantine room myself for the rest of the few days. Right. So as I mentioned, the first 5 days, I could only stay in the room, not coming out. And very grateful of brother Si Kwan, so Jing Kwan, brother Si Kwan, Jing Kwan. He was my buddy, and he was the one sending all the meals to me. So without him, I'll starve to death. So very grateful of brother Si Kwan, right? So he was sending all the food. And on the 6 days that I could get out, the first place I went to was Tao Ci Fang. So Tao Ci Fang was Ci Sifu, where Ci Sifu made all the ceramic, right? So when I went there, I was very shocked because the place was no longer how I imagined, how I remember back in the days, right? So every year I went back with the Tzu Chi youth for the camp, and we will go back to the Abode. So every year I went back during Christmas and New Year. So this time when I arrived at Tao Ci Fang, right, that I think that was one of the most shocking moments for me because Ci Sifu left us during the pandemic. Yeah, she was no longer with us anymore. And not just she was not there, Ci Sifu was not there anymore. And this ceramic square is completely, it's completely a different place. So later on, I found out that they are renovating the place. So they are making it a 2 stories building. And they are Ci Sifu has another monastic disciple who is taking over some of the job in this ceramic task. And then yeah, so they are trying to turn this place a bit bigger, and I heard they will make a memorial center for Ci Sifu, but I'm not sure whether it will be in this place or somewhere else, because this place looks a lot bigger than it used to be, right? So, and then on my way to the Tao Ci Fang, right? So I passed by this very big building, which I didn't see before in 2020, early 2020. So this is the new recycling center in the Abode, right? So because I remember the recycling center in the Abode was a lot smaller than this one. So it was a lot smaller. So this new 环保站is a lot bigger, and it looks really nice. And they are like filtering the water, and there are a lot of things. Okay, maybe wait for you to explore next time when you get there, right? And there was also when I was exploring the Abode, like I like to explore new places. So within the Abode, it was quite a big place. So this is I think this is a Amalaki fruit. So they call it the Indian gooseberry or something. Apparently, it's very nutritious. So there is a new garden in the Abode, right? So if I explore further out the Abode, so I'm not sure if you recognize this place. So this is our Zell Lee Guangchang, right? Where they make the Jingsi soap, and a factory to produce our instant rice, our multi-grain, etc., etc. So this is our Jingsi Zell Lee, our Zell Lee Guangchang, Zell Lee Gongchang. So apparently, just right in front of the Zell Lee Gongchang, they are building Zell Lee Gongchang 2. Okay, why? Because if you go to our Jingsi Cafe very often, you will realize that we always run out of certain products, whether it's a mixed nut or the dried berry, or a lot of products we always run out, right? So this situation forced them to build Zell Lee Gongchang 2 to make the production more consistent. And actually this project has been delayed due to COVID, and hopefully in another 2 years it will be completed. So the new Zell Lee Gongchang 2 will have part of the production line, and also the new Jingsi Cafe, and maybe also the accommodation for the Zell Lee factory volunteers. So I'm not sure if you realize in the Abode there are many volunteers, and some of them they are the Jingsi factory staff, and some they are volunteers, and they've been staying there for a long term. So they have been staying in the Abode or somewhere around the Zell Lee Gongchang for the accommodation, but apparently it's not enough anymore. So that's why they are building this new Zell Lee factory. Right, so this is the Jingsi Cafe HQ. Maybe some of you have not been there before. So after the space over here has been demolished, the there was one Jingsi cafe where we used to go there after we hopped down from the bus, right? So this is a new temporary one that they built because master actually reminded them that the Jingsi cafe is very important to introduce Tzu Chi to the general public. So that's why they set up this temporary one. So this is called the Jingsi Ben Dian. So I hang out there quite often during my 60 days there for a coffee and for some snacks, right? So not sure if you recognize this place. Okay, so part of my exploration, I went outside a little bit of the Abode. So this is actually the Hualien airport. So how far away is Hualien airport from the Abode? Actually, you can actually walk there. If you drive, it's about 5 minutes. So this is the Hualien airport. So it's the first time I went there. So why was I there? And actually the team, I was volunteering in the Asia Pacific team. So there was this Indonesian Tzu Chi hospital. So Tzu Chi hospital Indonesia, and the superintendent was bringing his staff, the doctors, nurses, and the entrepreneur group actually went back to Hualien after 3 years from the pandemic. So since it's been a very long time, they went back to the Abode, and then the Abode master Sifu gave them a lot of food, and then they bought a lot of souvenirs, etc., etc. And then some of them are bringing back the things for Sui Mo Zu Fu, the year-end blessing. So I think, if not mistaken, there were more than 70 pieces of things they need to check in for the plane there. So we had to went there to help with the check-in in the Hualien airport. Right, so the Indonesian Tzu Chi hospital team and entrepreneur were there. So we were helping out with some of the logistic arrangement and just helping out as a staff, because the local staff are not staying very close to the Abode. So most of the work, this kind of a camp, we call it the camp, is done by the staff, right? So yeah, so about 10 of us, we were helping out in this camp when they were there for the 2 days. All right, so in the Abode, as you can see, I'm not sure if you know this cat. So this cat is called Apu. So there are several cats there. It's part of our mascot, and it's part of our friends. So when it comes back to Apu, so many staff like to play with this cat, but sometimes this cat has a very weird mood and temper. Sometimes you get scratches from Apu, and sometimes the Apu is very, very nice to everyone. And I think some volunteers or some Sifu are not happy with Apu, because Apu sometimes will kill some birds, kill some insects. And then Sifu are not happy with that one. And sometimes I was wondering, fortunately we are humans, right? We know we shall not kill. But for a cat, I'm not sure how well you can educate a cat to not kill, but we were trying our best, talking to Apu, asking Apu, please don't kill in the Abode, please find peace with all sentient beings. Like Sifu every time was asking everyone to teach Apu to have more compassion. Yeah, we will try our best, but it's still up to Apu and the affinity. So yeah, so if you're walking around the Abode, you will find this night heron. So very interesting creature. This big bird. They are actually not too afraid of humans. You can get a few meters closer. So that was how close I got to this big bird. Right, a few meters away, snap some photos. They're very interesting. They will wobble their head if you try to whistle or talk to the bird. Yeah. So in the Abode, there are a lot of creatures, right? So a lot of snails, extremely lots of earthworms around the Abode. And when the winter when winter gets very, very cold, so you will find a lot of crisp earthworm the next morning because it was too cold for them, and they actually died off because of the chill, right? And then the ants will take over. So sometimes you will see the volunteers and Sifu will try to save these worms and save these ants by using some leaves or sticks to move them back into the soil, move them back on the soil, right? So in the Abode, there are a lot of plants, right? A lot of herbs. So this I get to learn during this trip, right? So this Jingyinghua, one of the ingredients they use for our Jingsi product. So this Japanese honeysuckle, they have very great fragrance. So this rose, the 月亮玫瑰, also they pluck it for the ingredient. They smell so nice, right? And then this Thomsoni, so the Sifu said it's called the Teng Long Hua. So if you remember, Master did mention before in the Abode, Sifu tried to brighten up Sangren's day by arranging different plants around the path that Sangren will walk over. So of course we benefited by walking past. Also we get to see these exotic plants. So this is one of the most exotic that I've found, the Teng Long Hua. And in the Abode, after lunch, many of the staff or the volunteers, even the Sifu, will walk around, try to find some xiangsidou on the ground. So just to let you know, there are 3 xiangsi su. So there are 3 acacia trees in the Abode. They used to have more, but they cut it down for some new building, right? So when everyone is free, they will walk around, trying their luck to find these acacia beans walking around the Abode, right? And in the morning after breakfast, just before the morning assembly, so there was San Sifu. She'll walk around and try to pluck this magnolia cocoa, so very fancy name. So 叶和华. So Sifu used to pluck this plant, this flower for the altar to 供佛. So because San Sifu is getting old, so she's asking the volunteers to help her with the plucking of the flower offering. So when I was there, I was helping too, because some of the flower, they are actually quite high. It gets taller than you, so you need to bend the stem a little bit to get the flower. So very lucky, because I managed to get this flower every day. And eventually we ran out of the flower because the changing of the seasons, when it gets colder. So we no longer able to get this magnolia cocoa. So we switched to different jasmine, a smaller flower with also great fragrance. So we're switching to a different jasmine. And then after the jasmine, or this Muraya, we call it a Qi Li Xiang, right? So eventually the Qi Li Xiang also ran out. So I had to go for the jasmine for the offering, right? So few days plucking the Qi Li Xiang, I actually saw a friend, right? This white color spider. So it's very intriguing for me to discover a white spider, because I haven't seen it here in Malaysia myself. Maybe I haven't done enough exploration in the wild, right? So one day I encountered one sister. She was holding this pot of flower, right? So this very artistic, very nice looking pot of flower. So I saw her was moving with the flower, and I was helping her to move, because there are a lot of there are several pots, and there was a distance that she needs to move. So I was helping her with the pot to place in the place where she wanted to place the pot. So, and then I found out that she came every Tuesday to assemble all these flowers, right, to make the Abode a nicer place. So I really enjoy looking at all these flowers. So and then one of the view that I could saw, you know, this very nice rose withered just a few days after it was placed on the location, right? So it reminds me that, you know, our life, you know, our youth, right, our time in the earth is very limited, or just like the flower, just how like it reminded us we need to cherish our everyday, you know, make our days useful, or else we'll be gone very soon, right? So small conclusion of my small exploration in the Abode. So is a very amazing place, and I really like the Abode. The small habitats of this flora and fauna. Some I was unable to capture, and I was unable to share this morning because there are too much of the plants and animals and insects that I can share in the morning. So every time I went out in the Abode, is a very refreshing, as the fresh air, you know. I was really enjoying myself over there. So I actually didn't know that I could see the, you know, the sea in the Abode, because I read in the story that in the early days when when Sangren started the Abode, when they were staying there, they were able to see the sea from the Abode location. So of course, with the new buildings and the trees are getting taller, so the view was blocked. So if you want to see this sea or the mountains, you need to go to the rooftop, so you can actually see the mountains and the sea, right? So here in the Abode, constantly get reminded that I have to be diligent and working on the Bodhisattva path by doing the voluntary work or the office work every day, right? So as for my volunteering work in the Abode, so what was I doing? So since our brother Vivek and brother Kumar, our Si Yang and Si Guo Shishong, so they were there. So Si Yang Shishong was there for 2 months exactly. We went back exactly 1 day different, so we were there for 60 days. So we had a lot of time together, and brother Kumar was there for 2 weeks. So when we were back in the Abode, we were helping out with the plucking of the herbs in the herbs garden, right? So that was part of the things that I was doing, and also helping out with cleaning of the weeds. So 除草, right? Plucking the grass. And that one was actually very tiring for me, because, you know, you need to squat down the whole morning, the whole afternoon. So as you can see, the cultivation of our monastic Sifu was really a challenge of your physical and mental. You know, you get sore back, you get sore legs, and then, you know, the sun is shining. Maybe it's very cold, but you still need to keep going, because that was part of your responsibility. So it was part of the cultivation. So that was an experience that I got there. So I was also helping out at the candle factory, because it was during 岁末祝福, and they were using quite a lot of the candles. So they were OT to make more candles over there. So I was helping out. It was a great experience helping out there. And for the Nepal project, as what I'm working on, we have weekly meetings with Sifu, with the Qingxiu Si, with the staff, and communicating with the volunteers in Malaysia, Singapore, and Nepal, Lumbini. So we have these weekly meetings. And also the Asia Pacific team, they have their weekly meeting. So going through the work in Singapore, Malaysia, some work in Turkey, Australia, New Zealand, etc. So they have this weekly team meeting, right? So when I was there, also there was Su Ching 30th anniversary, so they have the camp. So we have the session we call 以师父饮一杯智慧的水 so the sharing with the 师父 from the Abode. So I was helping out with the 师父 to set up, because some of the 师父 they are very familiar with the technologies, because they were the one who set up a Sangren's meeting room and everything. But there are also some 师父 who are not so familiar with technology. So the team from the Asia Pacific will help out with the setting up and then everything to help 师父 for more smooth sharing with the delegates, right? So as end of the year, right before Chinese New Year, there are always this big spring cleaning in the Abode. So we need to, clean the fans, clean the ceiling, wipe everything in and out, right? So for the spring cleaning, every corner of the building, basically, everyone was cleaning. And of course, there are the daily cleaning, like just now I mentioned, making sure all the green patches are nice looking, are clean, so etc. So there are a lot of cleaning every day, right? Just exactly like how we need to clean our mind, when it gets polluted, when it gets stagnant, right? Sometimes we need to do some big cleaning, sometimes we need to do the daily cleaning or by learning our daily Dharma, and sometimes we need to go for a camp for a big spring cleaning. So I think that really makes sense for our mind as well, right? So for the work in the Abode, so unlike my previous staying in the Abode as a volunteer, mostly we call it 出播. So 出播 is like you are going out either in the kitchen, in the canteen, in the garden. So it's more like the labor work, the 出播. So this time I spend more time in the office doing the report from Nepal. So every day the Nepal volunteers, they will send the words report. So recording what they have been doing every day, the daily report. So one volunteers will come up with the words report. And then another group of volunteers, they will send back the photos, right, from different platforms. So my job was basically to compile everything and make it into a PPT so that the manager and Sangren will understand it easier. So sometimes there are some verification, like for example, in a photo of 5 people, like who is the mayor, who is the ketua kampong, who is the village leader, and who. So there are a lot of communication between myself and the local volunteers. So how early you need to sleep when you are staying in the Abode, right? So one night it was so bright, so the moon was shining so bright, so that time was about 4 o'clock in the morning, right? So if you sleep early, how early you need to sleep? So in my experience, I was quite shocked as one of the evening I went back after some meeting or after some reporting. I went back to the room, it was 7:30, and I found out that everyone has a sleep. So I need to be very careful with the lights and take out my clothes for shower and everything. So sometimes they sleep very early as 7:30 in the evening. So and in the beginning, I was quite angry with that, because I was like, come on, it's only 7:30 and you're already sleeping. This is not how you should be. This is not how the Abode life should be. You should sleep at 9:20 when you heard the gong, right? You can only sleep during that time. So I was unable to accept this earlier, because later on I found out, because some of them they've been working very hard in the farm, right? Do a lot of labor work, unlike me, only sitting in the office, right? So they must be very tired. And some of them actually they were not even volunteers. They're like the family of the volunteers. They're like the family of the staff also. They are staying there. So this makes me learn, to 善解包容 So you need to 转念 So you need to learn about this, how to be accepting, how to 善解包容 of others people, right? So sometimes didn't get to sleep very well. Why? Because sometimes in the middle of the night, there are the cats fighting, there were the dogs fighting, the dogs barking. So sometimes we don't really get a good night's sleep. So the next morning we'll be struggling, right? Because the next morning at 4:20, you need to start with the morning chanting. But actually, surprisingly, I thought that I couldn't manage the morning chanting, but in the past 2 months there, morning chanting has been okay for me, but I was not able to last for the wisdom at dawn, right? So the wisdom at dawn, I was mainly dozing off, so it was not easy for me. So I got frustrated of this as well. So I consulted Jing Se Sifu. So Jing Se Sifu said yes, sometimes it was not easy for Jing Se Sifu as well. So sometimes you don't get a good sleep, so you'll be dozing off. But the most important thing is at least you have tried your best, at least you have been there. So we call it the 中言道场, right? So at least you are still there, right? So your present still count. So you are still there, or you're making an effort. So that was how Sifu encouraging me, right? So over there, we get to encounter more overseas volunteer, because when I was there, Sangren was going around Taiwan for the year-end blessing. So Sangren was there I was only to see Sangren for about 1 week, because and then Sangren went out again for the second round of the year-end blessing. So you see, Sangren is 86 years old and she's still, very busy. So when Sangren was back in the Abode, everyone was reporting to Sangren, including Malaysia, South Africa, and the local. So many people are trying to update Sangren with what's happening with their projects and everything, right? So this time, unfortunately, I was able to meet Brother Christopher from Xiangmiu Sixiong. He was coming back for his commissioner ceremony. So he was staying in the Abode for a few days, and he's because I was sitting next to him, we were working together very closely. He's such a humble person. He's working very hard. So after each meal, he will help with all the cleaning, all the washing, and even with the big spring cleaning, he was also there for the help out. And then he will rush back for the sharing back with master. So a very diligent young man that I could see with my own eyes, right? So this was the 75th birthday celebration with Si Xian Ba. So Si Xian Si Bo. So we call in the Abode, everyone call him Si Xian Papa. So and I was actually fortunately to meet Akui Papa. So Akui Papa now he's in Turkey. So I haven't seen them for a very long time. So it was a great catch up. So in the photos, mainly these are the staff. So the staff was celebrating with Si Xian Ba in one of the restaurant, right? So when I was there, the Abode was mainly closed. But as times goes towards January, slowly Abode has been reopening. But right now, you can go back to the Abode. You just need to do a self-test, and then if you're cleared, you can go into the Abode. No worries, right? So when I was there were several cold snap in Taiwan. So this actually caught me on guard, because in the past few years when I went back to Taiwan, the winter wasn't that cold, right? Sometimes we even wearing short sleeve, and we got told off by some of the sifu that we must keep ourselves warm. We need to wear long sleeve, but it was really warm back in the days during winter. But this time it was very, very cold, and it was as cold as a single digit for a few weeks. So the news actually stated more than 120 people died, maybe because of this cold snap in Taiwan. And of course, for the COVID precaution, our Jing Si Fu, we have one Yu Si Fu, or Yu Si Fu used to be the nurse in Tzu Chi Hospital. So after she became monastic, she was the one that in charge of the whole COVID control in the Abode. So for those who went out from the Abode and coming back, they need to do this self-test. They need to do self-test for 5 days. And if you are a close contact, you need to go to this station. So this is just outside, it's in front of the Dizang Pusa Miao. So you need to go to this place. You need to have to go through this test by the Jingse Sifu. So you can't do self-test by yourself. You need to come to this place because they believe that they can they can dig deeper into your nose for more accurate testing results. So I need to came there. I was there for a few days because in the dorm that I was staying, there were several brothers who got positive, right? So I need to go there for several days for the self-test in the morning and right before the afternoon, so to make sure that everyone is clear. Because in the Abode, in Malaysia, we already no longer need to do all these self-tests, but in the Abode is a very different scenario because every day there are about 500 people in the Abode. There are sifu who are very old age, so for the safety of everyone, so this kind of measurement was still taking place in the Abode, right? So why thinking about pure practitioner, about Qing Xiu Si, right? So when I was there, back in the Abode, and Sangren was back, and I have to xiaojia with Sangren, so need to go in front of Sangren, and I had to make a vow in front of Sangren to become a Qing Xiu Si, right? So Sangren gave me these 2 books, right? And during that day, it was the sharing of Malaysia, and I was really unprepared because Sangren and us and Brother Kevin was asking me to share. I didn't know what to share, so I didn't know what was I doing. I was really shocked, right? I was trembling because previously they were sharing about Malaysia, Lu Jingzang. They were sharing about what they would like me to share. I had no idea. I thought, should I give some feedback of the Lu Jingzang or anything? I didn't know what to say. So it was a funny moment for me. So anyway, so just reminded me that always be prepared on what you have to say, and try to stay calm as much as possible. So yeah. And when I was there, I got some time. I will try to do some reading. So it was this book, Su Ching Anzu. I think it's very relevant for me to read this book because this is about the first 5 disciples of Sangren, the monastic disciple of Sangren, in the Abode. So this book actually told me more story about. I actually learned more about their life in the early days, right? So I found out not only Sangren ran away from home 2 times, right? Actually, Ci Sifu also ran away from home. And Ci Sifu even ran away from home after she became a monastic, right? So there are a lot of interesting story and learning for me. And another very interesting story I get to learn is about En Sifu. So En Sifu, I think maybe most of us are not familiar with her because she passed away in 2002 during the year of SARS. So En Sifu actually followed Master when she was 18 years old, and she passed away in her 50s. So this very amazing Sifu has been in the heart of most of the volunteers in the early days, right? So whatever Sifu has tried before, whatever dishes she has tried before, she can make 95% similar to what she has tasted before. And she always like to give chocolate, so they call it the chocolate Sifu, or call the cute Sifu because of her big smile and her wisdom. So Sifu like to give chocolate because for chocolate in Mandarin, it's called 巧克力, is 巧妙的克服困难的力量. So it means you must find ways to overcome all your challenges. by just giving a piece of chocolate as a candy, there's a big wisdom behind it. So I get to read this book. I was surprised that I have never seen this book before, because I like to read a lot of book from Still Thoughts. Only I found out that this book was not for sale. It was a memoir about Sifu, published by the Abode, right? So I think it's coming close for my sharing. I think my time is running out. So when I was walking down the path in the Abode, so you can see that, I'm not sure if you can see these spider webs, right? Sometimes you can see the spider web, sometimes you can't see the spider web and you get tangled, right? So it's like in Tzu Chi, right? It's not every day bright and sunshine, or everything is good, everyone is great. So you sometimes you get to meet challenges. People, like when I was Abode, I actually got told off by a sifu also, by doing some silly mistakes. And sometimes you also have some challenges, that some problem that you will be unable to solve, right? So I think it's just a reminder that life still goes on. You still need to keep going, and you try to avoid as much spiderweb as you can. So need to keep going in the path. So okay, in a small conclusion, for my 60 days in the Abode, I was very grateful to be able to meet all the Sifu, and all the love and care, all the food, all the gift given by Sifu, by brother, especially brother Jing Kwan and brother Kevin, that look after me in the Abode. So why I want to be a Qingqiu Si is basically very simple reason, just like why you want to become a Tzu Chi commissioner, right? You just want to give as much as you can. So I know from the 3 photos of the Qingqiu Si ceremony, I counted there were 47 of them. So, and in the workforce of the Abode, all in the foundation and Tzu Chi Foundation, there are 20% of Malaysians in the Abode. So I just want to contribute part in together with them. So everyone, no matter you're a staff, you're a volunteer, you're a happy volunteer, you are whoever. So as long as you are with Tzu Chi, you are in Tzu Chi, everyone have their responsibility, have their affinity. So everyone is equally important. So please walk along the Bodhisattva path with everyone else. So we need you. So, and one more thing is that the environment can change you a lot. So please, I encourage everyone to go back to the Abode as much as you can. As I mentioned, the Abode has reopened. So please go back as much as you can. That's my sharing for this morning.
Oh, we enjoy so much, brother Zell, for the heartwarming and powerful sharing. Yeah, congrats to brother Zell for making adding on to this 20% of Malaysian as a pure practitioner. 祝福, we hope to hear more from brother, and for bringing us update from Abode and touring Abode. Wow, truly can I mean the Xie to those who have been to Abode, they would have noticed those pictures shared by brother Zell, some of the places that has changed, or the Xie Guangchang. Somehow I remember next to it used to be plantation for, I think that time we went turmeric or something. Huang Sifu, Master De Huang, so tour us there. Yeah, a lot of we look forward once hope to have chance to tour the place and seeing the exotic flower. Wow, it's truly amazing. Kaen brother, 祝福. Truly can see. That's why people say one day practicing in a boat is like 1 year practicing, maybe more than 1 year practicing outside. It's the time is so fulfilling. Truly inconceivable. Okay, Kaen brothers and sisters for still staying back with us. Thank you everyone for this a lot of deepest gratitude from all the sharers, brother Benjamin, brother Tang, and now brother Zell. We are most grateful to 3 of you for this heartfelt and wisdom sharing. Thank you to our brothers and sisters for your presence and your great support. Hope that each of us could sustain this Dharma joy and take in another piece of masters and Hualien love to our life. Okay, sorry, before we end the session, maybe can we take a group picture as a memory? Our brother, we have our brother Andy. from East Malaysia. Wow, some of the volunteers already started the street donation. You can see at this point. Yeah, we have up to
we are now at Spy Park.
fine.
Hello,
Okay,
everybody.
okay. Those are, if okay, can on the video. We will take your picture. Okay. Here, 1, 2, 3.
Straight donation, sending love to Turkey.
Yeah, they are a lot of effort. Yeah,
1, 2, 3.
Cảm ơn你们啊, taken your picture already. Beautiful. And everyone, okay, let us pay homage to Buddha and Sangren as we apply these wonderful teachings in our everyday life. First bow. Second bow. Third bow. Okay, 感恩 everyone, 祝福大家 take good care, enjoy all these street donation, and Brother Zell, we look forward to hear more from Brother next time once the brother starts the mission as pure practitioner. 感恩，祝福大家。
And then everyone, enjoy your weekend. Bye.
Really, yeah.